In the stillness of the night, a chilling whisper dances through the air, an eerie lullaby that promises a tale of terror. Picture a town, once serene, now riddled with whispers of strange happenings. The townsfolk, once content, now shiver in the wake of an unseen, unknown force, their tranquility shattered. Every corner echoes with suspense, every shadow hints at the burgeoning horror. The once peaceful town now sits on the precipice of terror. In the heart of this peaceful town, a storm of terror was brewing, waiting to unleash itself. Under the pale moonlight, shadows twisted into terrifying forms, their silent screams echoing in the darkness. As the night grew deeper, the town was awash with strange and inexplicable incidents. Doors creaked open with no one in sight, lights flickered erratically, as if in sync with an otherworldly rhythm. Whispers of a presence, unseen yet palpable, began to circulate, sending a shiver of unease rippling through the townsfolk. They felt watched, hunted by something that lurked in the shadows, its presence looming like a specter in the night. It was a fear that gnawed at the edges of their sanity, a dread that seeped into their dreams, turning them into nightmares. The once peaceful town was now held captive in the icy grip of terror. Sleep became a luxury few could afford for fear of what might visit them in the dark. Among the eerie silence, chilling events unfolded, each more terrifying than the last. A child's laughter echoed through empty streets, a faceless figure seen in the corner of one's eye, a woman's sobs heard from an abandoned house, the inexplicable chill that seemed to hang in the air. Each incident a piece in the terrifying puzzle that was taking shape. And as the town spiraled deeper into fear, one thing became clear. These were not mere accidents. They were warnings, unseen hands reaching out from the shadows, their icy touch a harbinger of the horror to come. In the dead of night, the unseen terror struck, its icy fingers leaving a trail of dread in its wake. A hush descended on the town, a silence so profound it was as if the very air held its breath. The night, once a sheltering blanket, now bore witness to an unseen menace that lurked in its shadows. The town, usually abuzz with life, was now filled with a stifling sense of foreboding. The streets, once teeming with activity, now lay deserted, as if the town itself had succumbed to an unspoken fear. The only sounds to be heard were the occasional hushed whispers of the wind and the distant, ominous rumble of thunder. Stories began to circulate, tales of chilling encounters that defied explanation. A cold gust of wind where there was none, a shadow that moved on its own, a silent whisper that echoed in the dark. The terror was unseen, but its presence was palpable. It was as if the town had become a living, breathing entity, its terror manifesting in inexplicable ways. With each passing hour, the panic escalated. The unseen force had cast its chilling spell, and the town was in its grip. Desperate attempts were made to understand, to rationalize, to explain away the fear. But the unknown only added to the terror. The unseen only amplified the horror. In the face of this unseen terror, the town stood paralyzed, their fears taking shape in the darkness of the night. As dawn broke, the terror retreated, leaving behind a trail of questions and a deep-rooted fear. The quiet morning seemed eerily out of place, a stark contrast to the unsettling night that had just passed. The echoes of the screams had faded away, and all that remained was the chilling silence. The once familiar surroundings now seemed tainted by a lingering dread, reminding one of the unseen terror that had engulfed the night. In the aftermath of the horrifying ordeal, a multitude of questions arose. What was this unseen terror? Why had it chosen them? And most importantly, where had it disappeared with the break of dawn? These questions hung in the air, heavy and unsettling, like the fog that clung to the ground. As the day progressed, the fear that had taken root in the hearts of those who had witnessed the night's terror refused to dissipate. It was like a shadow that grew darker with each passing hour, feeding on the anticipation of the unseen terror's return. The once comforting blanket of nightfall now seemed ominous. The setting sun cast long, foreboding shadows that seemed to dance with a sinister delight. The air grew cold, and the silence was broken by a familiar, chilling whisper. It was a reminder, a prophecy, a threat. As the sun set, the shadows grew longer, and the chilling whisper returned. The terror is not over. It's just the beginning.